Pollara Strategic Insights has released a new monthly rage index to measure public opinion on a range of issues.
Yeah, for a closer look at what's making Canadians' blood boil, we're joined by Dan Arnold, Chief Strategy Officer at Pollara Strategic Insights. And Dan, first off, good afternoon. And not to make light of this, but, one of my favorite shows, Family Guy, Peter has a news segment of what really grinds his gears. And, that's kind of like what this is all about. So what are your overall findings?
Yeah, it's kind of what we're doing. We're testing what grinds Canadians' gears right now. I think we wanted to do this because it does feel like when you go to barbecues, people are just complaining a lot this summer. I think people were hoping this would be a summer of relative calm coming out of a couple years of pandemic, but instead there's a lot of things that are really getting Canadians frustrated at the moment. So we wanted to measure that. And, we found that, there are a lot of things making Canadians frustrated. Inflation, gas prices, obviously topping the list. But we went through a whole list of different news stories, and you've got the majority of people who are angry at the trucker convoy, even though it was 6 months ago, airport delays, housing market, close to half are frustrated with the passport delays. So, we're a nation right now where there's a lot of frustration across the land.
Usually when I go to a barbecue, Dan, I'm angry because I'm hangry and can't wait for the host to start feeding me. But look, there are some really big issues here, particularly issues that affect people's pocketbook. They're really feeling the pinch. Did you see differences based on provinces or genders, or people feeling different ways in different parts of the country?
Yeah, so what we're seeing right now is that across, all the questions that we asked, anger seems to be the highest in the prairie provinces right now. And Quebecers seem to be the happiest, which I guess is good for the premier there since he's going into a re-election campaign at the moment. The gender gap is interesting because overall, our average rage index score is the same for men and women, but we see them angry about different things. Men are a lot more upset about government in general, about the delays with passports and at the airports, whereas women tend to be more upset about the economic situation and the financial situation right now, and issues like inflation and the housing market. So, different things frustrating people, though. Everybody's got something that's getting them on their getting them upset at the moment.
And Dan, along those lines, is there any insight into how this can actually be turned around for people?
Yeah, well, I think, the hope would be that it does not boil over, because we've certainly seen, in other countries, but even in Canada, on the weekend we saw up in Peace River with the Deputy Prime Minister, someone shouting at her. And I think, if this does not get turned around, the risk is that the anger becomes more intense and that it starts boiling over into more and more of these very visceral incidents that we obviously want to avoid. So, I think, our leaders obviously have their work ahead of them to try to calm the temperature down across the country on a lot of these issues.
And that's part of their job, unification as well. Yeah. We talked about genders, we talked about provinces. Let's talk about age differences as well, because you did see differences with seniors, for example. Later in life, they're generally more financially comfortable as well. Do they share the same annoyances with maybe younger respondents?
Yeah, we saw that seniors have the least anger right now in the country. The highest moment tends to be kind of in the middle-aged categories for people, because I think that's largely where you're dealing with a lot of expenses around your housing, your kids, you're stressed about trying to get ready for retirement. So there's a lot of financial pressures that I do think tend to boil over a lot and really compound themselves. Seniors, on the other hand, generally in a better financial situation, not as worried about the housing market at the moment, things like that. So they tended to be a bit less worked up at the moment about some of the issues going on right now.
Dan Arnold, Chief Strategy Officer at Pollara Strategic Insights, basically giving us an insight into the pulse of Canadians when it comes to what makes people hot. Not boiling, right?
Just hot. Dan, thanks so much for your time. Talk to you again soon.
Thanks. Have a good day.